Hey guys, what's up? My name is TomSpark. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm making another tutorial video for automatic media server installation. This is also going to cover self-hosting as well. So if you're interested in pretty much everything when it comes to automated media servers or even self-hosting, this video is going to take care of you. This is going to be a complete guide running from everything from the beginning to the end, making it as noob-friendly as possible. Now, if you're like me, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I had no idea what I was doing. I kind of just did everything on the fly. It took me a long time to figure everything out. So in this video, I'm going to be kind of setting up everything for you as quickly as possible so you don't have to go through that learning curve. If you're someone who's been frustrated by self-hosting or automatic media servers or torrenting, or you're not really sure the best way to set things up, this video is for you. Or if you're a power user wanting to take it to the next level, maybe refresh your stack or learn some things, this video is also for you as well. So in this video, I'm going to be using what's called TomSparkBox.com. This is an entire dashboard and ecosystem that I've built on my channel for my audience. Basically what it does is it makes things as easy as possible. It's available on Windows, Linux, and you could run it even on a VPS. With Linux, all it takes is copy and pasting one command, as you see right here, to get started. And with Windows, you just click this download now, and it'll actually install SparkBox on your computer for you. What it does is it just kind of automates some of the Linux kind of packages onto your Windows computer, and it'll set it up for you so you don't have to worry about how to install Linux and stuff like that on your Windows computer. So it's completely free, by the way, guys, but it does have some supporter tiers if you do want to kind of enhance your SparkBox. It has some cool things like an AI troubleshooter, which a lot of people love. So if you're looking to get to kind of support the product and get some cool benefits, this is like actually an agentic troubleshooter. So it lives on your box. It can actually fix things like media permissions with different folders. If you've set something up wrong, even though SparkBox sets up a lot of things, it provides 24/7 kind of customer support. When it comes to self-hosting, it knows tons and tons about it, and it's a self-learning AI, which means every single day it's live and people are talking to it. It's aggregating that data and improving and getting smarter. So a lot of people are subscribing or not subscribing. It's a one-time payment to access the Legend tier. But if you guys are interested more on kind of the offerings I've built into SparkBox for paid people who want to support the project, there's a full page on my website, which will list everything. I've also built in 5 or 6 other cool apps with the Ultimate tier. These are personal apps I've developed for privacy advocates. Whether you'd like something like voice to text dictation on your computer, privacy oriented notes, Hearth Chat, which is a Discord alternative, all sorts of cool things that are in the ecosystem. So I've kind of expanded it into more ecosystem, but if you're only interested in the self-hosting, the automated media server, TomSparkBox is the place to do it. So guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in right now. How do we set up TomSparkBox? How do we set up your automated media server? Let's go ahead and find out right now. So guys, like I said, it really depends on you. Which kind of way do you want to install it? Do you want to install it on your main Windows PC? You can do the one-click installer here. If you want to install it on a separate Linux device, a VPS, an NAS, I have a Linux, I have a Ugreen kind of NAS that I kind of got rid of all the Ugreen bullshit on it and flashed it with Linux. That's also an option. I have guides on my website on how to do that. But you can also install it kind of as like a layer over Ugreen as well. And I've configured it so none of the ports kind of interrupt each other. So it's kind of up to you. So for this video, we're probably going to be doing kind of like the one command method. I do think this is probably the most popular method, but the window installation pretty much works the same. And I even have a complete Windows setup guide on the website. And I made one of my last videos showing exactly how it works, but it's probably one of the easiest methods. But for this video, we're going to be doing the one command method here. So that is what we're going to be doing. But yeah, like I said, if you want the Windows method, check out my last video on the channel. So guys, the first thing you're going to want to do is either be on your terminal or SSH into your device. Basically, when you want to get into your device, SSH is a way to kind of like tunnel into it. And you basically would do SSH root at the thing, and then if it has a password, usually if you're using a VPS, the website has some guides on like how to get into it, or with your own terminal or Linux. Hopefully if you're doing this method, you know how to kind of get in that way. But here's a quick message on the screen otherwise. Outside of that, once you get into the box, that's kind of where we're going to start the tutorial and kind of where you'll see the magic from SparkBox. As you can see here, I'm at root in my VPS. That is my test one. So here, what we're going to do is pretty much just copy and paste this exact thing. So we just go on TomSparkBox.com, copy that command, and then we're pretty much just going to open up the terminal, right click, and then from here, you're going to see how it works. So it automatically detected that I'm running in VPS mode, and SparkBox VPS mode is a slightly different and a little bit different in terms of security than the normal kind of local hosted version. It is a little less secure just because it's like more of a public domain. But that said, most people, I think only 3 or 4 people are using the VPS method, or at least the ones that have posted purchase Hostinger. And if you're interested in the VPS method, I'll put a link for Hostinger down below, which is like my preferred one to do this with. But it's setting up SparkBox right now, and you might be saying, well, what is it doing right now exactly? Well, it's kind of setting up all the SparkBox dashboard and kind of configuration. From here, once you do this, you're pretty much going to not need to do too much code anymore. It's setting up the stuff and stuff like that. So we're just going to wait here for a couple seconds, and then there we go. It's pretty much ready to kind of start already. That's how quick it is. So it's just asks you couple of questions here about if you want to support the project or not, and what backing unlocks, and this will take you to the backer page. So you could just do 1 or 2, and from here we see our bootstrap token and the dashboard. So I don't even know if we still need the bootstrap token. So pretty much what we're going to do is just copy and paste that code right there, and then we're going to paste that into our browser, and this is pretty much what you're going to see here. So we do still need the bootstrap token, but it's very easy to see in the terminal. You just copy and paste it right here. And then we're going to copy that here, and we're just going to make some kind of generic password. So I'm going to, well, a secure password, not a generic one. So we're going to do that, and we're going to claim the server. And that's pretty much all you need to do, guys, to get started with SparkBox and this kind of automated media server. So we're just going to have some basic information here. If you guys want to help support the channel and use my recommended VPN, Surfshark is our recommended option. Why is it recommended compared to some other options out there? Well, one, it just is super easy to set up. It gives you a WireGuard key. You just copy and paste it. It takes like 10 seconds to set up once you sign up to Surfshark. Some other VPNs out there with really high speeds like Noob don't provide WireGuard keys. Some of the VPNs out there we used to like using are no longer updated. A lot of VPNs just aren't quite as fast or as cheap. So it kind of, I've been reviewing VPNs for like 10 years. So trust me, there's a lot of research that went into this recommendation. So if you want to help support the channel and get a good VPN, click on the link here or in the description down below. If you want to use your own VPN, feel free to do so as well. So we're going to go ahead and just click get started. So as you can see here is SparkBox. Now this is just an optional data opt-in, and now what this does is it doesn't collect any of your personal information. Basically what it does is it just collects the way you use SparkBox, various things like how Docker containers work, self-repair things. Basically it collects all that little information on like issues or anything like that. It'll send them back to TomSpark AI, and then if you have a problem, I'll actually help you solve it. So think of this a way as kind of like contributing to any troubleshooting diagnostics and stuff like that. So I would recommend counting in if you want to help improve SparkBox as a whole. It will also integrate things into patches. So it'll actually take some information. If it notices anything's going wrong, it will actually take that information into my patching system. So that is kind of the beauty of SparkBox, as well as it's so intelligently designed that we could kind of iterate and improve it so it's less buggy, because this is a very ambitious project. We're wiring together tons of self-hosting applications that aren't really meant to be done this way so easily. But here we go. Here's SparkBox, and here's what it looks like. This is the free version. So as you can see, we see some containers down here, some information on domain, everything like that. So what you want to do first off, if you're going to start with a media stack, you're just going to go to apps, and then here we can see these are like the recommended ones to start with. So pretty much what we're going to do is just do media center, and now we're going to click install, and you can pick other ones too if you want. We even had some gaming things. Pretty much anytime someone asks me to host something, I'll add it here. And as you can see, everything is like filled out with tons of directions. So we're going to click apply changes. So this is a one-click auto R config. Pretty much everything is wired together. And we're going to click install. And this is where you set up the VPN. So the reason I recommend Surfshark, you just leave it like this. And then we're just going to copy and paste the WireGuard key from Surfshark's area. And it tells you how to do that right here. So we're just going to do that just for the purpose of this video. All right, so we're logged into Surfshark. Let me show you how easy this is. We're just kind of waiting for the thing to set up. We'll go to manual setup. And then once we're there, we're just letting that load a bit. You click WireGuard. And now we're going to say, I don't have a key pair. Let's do test video 1. Next, generate a key pair. You're pretty much just going to copy this private key. I'm going to probably blur it out for the video. So it's copied. Now we go back here, just paste it right here, save and install. That's it. So now what does this do? Well, it pretty much turns VPN on all the time for this R stack. It's using Gluetun, so it's protected by kill switches. This in itself will probably take like 2 hours to set up, installing all this stuff. And as you can see right now, it's setting it up in a matter of minutes. So this kind of stuff, you know, you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, this took a couple months to get working. It's more complicated than you think, getting all the things to set up and work this way. But the bonus is it works really well now. So we're just going to let this run for a little bit and come back when it's done. So guys, basically the first thing you're going to want to do is either be on your terminal for your device or you SSH into it. All right, guys, so once you get to this part, it's basically just going to tell you, hey, everything finished downloading and it's running. So this full media stack really has like every kind of newest thing you might really want. Originally, when I first started making these videos like 5 or 6 years ago, it was pretty much like Prowlarr, Sonarr, Radarr. That was kind of like it. But now there's a lot of other tools that people like, and I've integrated those like Seerr, Lidarr, Chaptarr, Usenet functionality, and Notifiarr, which is like notifying you when things are done. Seerr is kind of like your front end, so I've kind of configured it so when you want to request something, Seerr is kind of like how you do it, just for that really nice interface. Now, as always, guys, just a little legal warning here. Always make sure to stay within the copyright protection laws of your country. This video is not encouraging, endorsing, or piracy or anything like that. Everything I download on my computer is always content I own or that is copyright free. It's just old movies and stuff like that. So in this video, I'm going to be using examples just like that. Also in this video, I'm not going to be providing you indexers to whatever website you want to choose. That's up to you. That's your responsibility to choose indexers. You can always look it up and find the best ones and then plug them in like we'll show you, but that is also up to you. I can't really show you that for legal reasons. This is not a piracy device. This is a self-hosting automatic media management device, and that is just how we do it. So guys, everything is pretty much installed now. As you can see here, we pretty much just one-shot it completely within 5 minutes. So very nice. You can also see up here that Surfshark is running all on its own, picked a server and everything like that. And it is protected completely by VPN. So nice little thing up there I put there. So the first thing you guys are going to want to do is pick your indexers. As you can see here, the media pipeline is pretty much done. It just says here that you need to do indexers. So you're just going to click here and open up Prowlarr. Now the good thing is it's already synced up with the other applications. So all you're going to do is add an indexer, test to make sure it's working. And then once that's working, you should be able to download media, copyright unprotected media. So now that I got my indexer set up, I'm going to show you how to use the media setup. So guys, next up, what you're going to do is click on Seerr, and now it's going to show you the credentials here because I designed SparkBox just to be as easy as possible. One of the most annoying things about these applications is kind of managing the usernames and passwords. So everything's already set up for you. We're going to enter in SparkBox, copy and paste that password, and then there you go. We're pretty much logged in here. So for our example, we're going to be using Night of the Living Dead since it is copyright-free content. It should be one of these old ones. Yeah, here we go. All you do is click Request. This area can kind of get a little hairy. If there is like not a Blu-ray version or something like that, sometimes you might find that nothing happens. So we're just going to put 720 1080p because I'm sure there's something like that out there. As you see at the top, it said Night of the Living Dead requested successfully. So now let's go ahead and see if it's automatically working in our other apps without even needing to set them up. So pretty much what you're going to do, you're going to go to Radarr. Now just a quick little explanation here because I kind of got ahead of myself. Radarr is basically for movies, Sonarr is for TV shows, Prowlarr is like the indexers or the different websites that will feed, kind of be a search engine. qBittorrent is your download device, Bazarr is for subtitles, Jellyfin is how you will view the movies on like a different device, so it will kind of be like your media player, and Seerr is just how you request things. So you can actually request things in Sonarr and Radarr too, but Seerr is just a nicer interface to do it in. It's just like a more modern way. So Radarr will click on that, and as you can see here, without even doing anything, it's already monitored, trying to download it. So as you can see here, It's looking for it right now, and it's already downloading it. So if we go to qBittorrent, of course, it's going to show you the password very nicely. We just go here, click admin, password. We're going to see Night of the Living Dead pop up right there. So guys, that's as easy as it is. Just in like 10 minutes, you already got everything set up perfectly. Now, where is this going to go when you're done with Night of the Living Dead? Well, it's going to go in Jellyfin. So Jellyfin is like your little media player device. And you could install this on Apple TV or anything like that. There's like a SwiftFin application or something like that. Jellyfin's already set up. You can also download the natural Jellyfin app on Android TV operating systems like NVIDIA Shield or Android TV boxes on your iPhone as well. So once the Night of the Living Dead is done, it's just going to go into movies here, and it's going to auto-populate there, and that's pretty much it, guys. So the cool thing is you can also kind of power use this. So let's say you want to request movies on your phone. You're just pretty much going to go to this website here. See this thing up here? There's going to be an IP address up there at the top. Let me just zoom in there so now you can see that. So you can pretty much just send this to Discord or email or something, copy and paste that, put it in your phone, and make it like a desktop application on your phone, so that way you can always easily go here. So this is all going to be local only, right? This stuff is all local only. So if you're not at your house or someone else wants to access it, you're not going to be able to without remote connection. Now, fortunately, there are easy ways to do this. You could do stuff like Tailscale, which is just kind of like a way to kind of make your network accessible somewhere else through a WireGuard tunnel. And it's an application you install on your phone as well as your computer or whatever device you want to use it on. So let's say you're on your Apple TV, you bring it somewhere else to a hotel. If you install Tailscale on that to remote back into your SparkBox, you'll be able to watch anything you want. Now, fortunately, we have very good Tailscale integration here. You just type in Tailscale here, and you can log in here. We also have a couple other different tools, I believe. Wizarr is a way to kind of send links to people. They could set up their own accounts. We have Unpackerr, Sonarr, lots of different little apps you could turn on and kind of power use if you guys want to go that route. And if you have any questions on how to do any of those kind of power user features, this is kind of just like the basic stuff. Although already the stack is really good. As you can see, it just auto-populated. Everything is perfect now. It says it has indexers because we added it. So as you can see, this thing is smart as hell. Now, guys, that's pretty much it for how to set up an automated media server super quickly and easily with some of those extra things. Now, like I said, you can unlock Tom AI and some advanced features. And I would really encourage you to do this if you're brand new or if you just want to help support the project. Tom AI is an AI that lives on your server, can actually make fixes, help you understand how to do things, and you gain access to the newly updated GUI, which you can see here, which is extra nice. You also have access to a couple other cool things. You get priority support from me on the forums, and a couple other different kind of cool things you could read more about there. Now, if you guys have any questions on what's going on here, well, I've made a lot of documentation. You can find this in the docs section. It's fully searchable. We also have an extremely big community. Around 112 members here subscribe, but we get questions here every single day, around probably 5 or 6 questions. And we're patching it all the time. As you can see here, we've just patched today lots of cool little fixes. Now, the main kind of stuff works, but there's always things going on, little power user, little things I'm fixing. So if you have any questions, come to demox.world. This is basically, I made my own version of Reddit because Reddit mines are all data, and this website doesn't collect any information. It's just a privacy way. And if you guys like this website, you could even just come here for news. I have a cool little news feed that is built into it, kind of like Google News or something like that, but this doesn't mine any of your data. You can also use this just like Reddit as well, has all these RSS feeds like this, which is pretty cool. So if you guys are interested in that. So guys, let me know what you thought of this video, and I'll see you again very soon.